Morning and welcome to the September 24th Nicollet County Commissioners meeting. You will join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by County Attorney today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, all. And you have before you, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. A plethora of people today. How exciting. We have some introductions of some new employees. Cassie, you're going to lead off the charge here?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I always joke with you that we travel in large groups in
Yes,
Health and
you
Human
do.
Services, and here we are again. This morning, I would like to start off by introducing Bree Allen. She is our new Health Promotion and Prevention Supervisor over our Public Health team. She comes to us from Carver County, so I'll let her say a few words about herself.
Hi, and
Good morning. Good
Thank you. Yeah, I moved to Mankato, so I'm here, bought a house. Husband's at MSU, so looking forward to being a resident of the area and getting to know the area a little bit more. I'm originally from Mantorville, Minnesota, so 507 area code. It's all the same, so.
Mr. Chair,
Sir.
what's it like to live in the former governor's house?
Oh, you know? Wow.
I work in real estate.
He's a realist.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a nice neighborhood.
Lovely neighborhood. Great neighbors. It's easy to. They know where you live.
Yeah.
And they know who was there before. So, yeah.
Expectations will be high, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes. Yep. And then I'll introduce Dallas, who's now. She just started a month ago. Dallas is our new public health nurse. And she has a variety of roles and responsibilities. She's at the jail doing jail health, correctional health. She's doing disease prevention and control work with Jody Fishnick. She's doing ship work with Leah Mahoney. And she's on doing emergency preparedness. Am I missing anything? Adult protection from Kelsey. Speak to that a little bit. So yes, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, I'm Dallas Starkey. I am originally born and raised in North Mankato, and I live in West Mankato in Skyline with my husband and 3 children. Yes, it's very exciting.
Great. And welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to continue with your department, or do you want me to go?
I can go.
I'll go. Good morning, board.
Morning.
I'm introducing Courtney Turbold is our new adult mental health social worker, and Michael Davis is our new LADC. She started at the beginning of September.
Well, welcome and start your scenario. Who wants to start first?
I can go first. I was born and raised in actually Albert Lee. I moved to the Mankato area in 2014. I graduated from MSU with a bachelor's in social work, and I actually come from the state hospital.
Yep, I'm born and raised in Mankato. I've worked at House of Folk for 7 years. I recognize Denny from Drug Court.
There we go.
He's coming
Where we
times.
both work as staff persons.
So yeah, we're doing chemical health assessments.
Welcome.
And this is Laura Benscofer. She is our newest children's mental health social worker. Laura is a recent graduate of Winona State and is from this area, so I can let you share a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess that pretty much sums it up. Born and raised in North Mankato area. I just graduated in May, so now I'm back. So, yeah.
Well, welcome all of you. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to your service and hopefully we will meet your needs also. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have before you your consent agenda. I'd entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Move it.
We have a motion from Kolars.
I'll second.
Second from Lichty. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those- Well, I've passed unanimously, I guess. There. Oh, cool. All right. First call for public appearances. Is there anyone here that,
Chair, I think there's one more.
did we miss someone?
No.
Oh, no, okay.
all right.
Now
Never
you
mind, I thought we were.
Derailed the train, man.
I'm sorry, I thought I saw someone wanting to introduce someone, so I apologize.
We're gonna wait 2 weeks.
Oh, we're gonna wait 2 weeks, okay.
Second call for public appearances. Third and last call. Seeing none, now Mandy's up, I believe. Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning.
Go on.
Have quite a few things on the agenda today.
Yes, you have a long but important list.
Yes, exactly. So the first items we'll go through are the conditional use permit request. The first item is Dirt Merchants owned by property owners Evelyn and Kenneth Drill. They're asking for their 3-year renewal of their conditional use permit. Currently, they mine, crush, stockpile gravel, and they do have a batch plant and wash plant at times on site. The permit was originally issued in 1998. Dirt Merchants have been the contractor on site since 2010. They do have a current bond in place to cover the required acres. One thing I do want to note, we have not received a reclamation plan, and so that is one of the conditions that we will be requesting for attachment prior to the issuance of the conditional use permit. We did not receive any public comment prior to the meeting, but we did have someone attend as an adjacent property owner, Marvin Drill. He did inquire about the wash plant, if that was something that was always on the permit, and then also a question about access. This access is a little unique where it comes off the township road and then branches and goes to the pit and then continues on to Marvin and Lisa Drill's property where they live with it. So I think there has been some concern about truck traffic and them leaving their site with it. So that was going to be taken care of by the applicant and Mr. Drill separately with it. After that, there was no additional comments by public, and the commission recommended unanimous approval with the attached conditions. And I'm asking a approval for a motion to accept the conditional use permit with the attached findings of fact.
I move to accept.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion or questions? Can I do these by voice, or do you need a roll call?
No, voice is fine.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
The second conditional use permit I have for you is for MR Paving and Excavating for property owners Tim, Gary, and Mark Cohn and Richard Gimmer for a 3-year renewal of their mineral extraction permit. This is located in Cortland Township again. This is for mining, crushing, and stockpiling of gravel, shale, and clay. The original permit was issued in 1994. We do have a current bond in place for the required acres. Again, this one was a conditional use permit, does not have a reclamation plan on file, and again, before we will issue the conditional use permit, we are requiring that reclamation plan. We did receive some comments from neighboring property owners, one from Candace Krall, and then also a comment from Brown County. Both of them did not oppose the request, just calling to investigate and have some basic questions answered. No additional comment was made at the hearing. After due consideration, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this request, and I'm asking for approval of the conditional use permit and attached findings of fact.
I'll move to accept it, and I have a question.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Commissioner Lipke, you have a question?
Isn't Mr. Gimmer deceased?
He is still the property owner, and so we have to follow that when we do all of our noticing.
Okay.
Anything else?
Mr. Chair, if I could?
Please.
Mandy, remind me or refresh my memory, every 3 years these are renewed, and for what purpose? Does that provide your office or the neighbors or whatever?
Right, it's listed as a conditional use permit, so the permit is recorded on the property and it's good forever until the conditions are no longer met. With the mineral extraction standards, we renew them every 3 years, and that's been something we've talked with a lot of our land use attorneys, and it is acceptable to do that because there is so much change over those 3 years when they're removing material that allows us to go back and review it. It does allow the property owners to make comment. Typically, we don't hear anything in between those 3 year time frame, and then we do send out the public hearing notices. They may call and just say they have some basic questions about the operation because they may have not known it existed. unfortunately, or they may just have questions about dust control with it. So it has been a benefit to us. We can also then keep on track on if they have any bond that lapsed, or if they don't have enough acres listed. Typically that's what we see, is that they'll bond for 10 acres, and in actuality they may have excavated 15 acres. So it's an opportunity to review their permit that way too.
So as a follow-up, you hear comments from neighbors, or do the county does its own review of the property in advance of the renewal?
Yes.
And in the time that you've been here, what have been the issues that have been dealt with, if any?
Most of the time, what staff has seen is that the bond just isn't enough to cover the acres. They've advanced so far beyond what they have bonded for that we need to update that. But typically, there aren't many major issues other than having to make sure the bond is reflective of the acres mined.
Mr. Chair, you usually do a visit then?
Yes.
And then check satellite photos and
Yes.
such? Okay.
Yep. Between our current photos, the county photos, and then the other sources out there, and then the on-site visit, we're able to see a lot of changes going on.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Your third item, ma'am.
This is for Cortland CSG, property owner Ringstorff Unterhemmen LLC. And just to note, this was a discussion point at Planning and Zoning. And however you say it properly, it does mean company in German. So that's the big question with it. This is for a conditional use permit to establish a large solar energy system on the property. Again, this is located in Cortland Township. They are looking to provide energy for Excel's community solar garden and utilize the existing distribution lines and substation. This is a 1 megawatt project. They're going to be installing horizontal single axis trackers to track the sun across the sky, typical of what the other projects have been within that area. Access will come from County Road 21, and they have received their access permit. Just to note that there have been a couple of specific conditions attached to our solar energy projects, specifically to address parking off-site and also any mud or debris on the road. So those have also been recommended for attachment. They plan to be operational by June of 2020, and this project did not receive any public testimony. Do want to note that the applicant is in attendance and may have some comments that may be reflective prior to a motion for this request. But that is my comment at this time. I think we may want to listen to the applicant, and then I will make a recommendation on the motion.
Very well. Please step forward and state your name, please.
Good
And
morning.
your address.
I'm Luke Nelson with Renesola Power, representing this solar project. I'd just like to request from the board a slight change to condition number 17 to this permit. It requires a verification that the site has a Minnesota Pollution Control Agency approved stormwater pollution and prevention plan prior to the issuance of the CUP. And we would just ask that you allow us to provide that after the issuance of the CUP, but before the start of construction. Just a small timing change with this condition.
Do you have any specific questions?
Are the people that live in this area, are they served by Excel as their power supplier?
They are, yes.
Could you tell me, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Could you tell me the address of this property?
Might not have
Do you have that, Mandy?
It hasn't been assigned yet.
Give me a neighboring.
It's between State 14 and County Road 25.
on the west side,
On the
or
west
east
side.
side rather?
On the west side of County Road 21.
West side, okay. As opposed, there's a bunch of on this side already, okay.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Could you explain why you're requesting this change? You're requesting what the change in, I think you said finding 17?
Yeah. So typically the stormwater pollution prevention plan is prepared by an EPC contractor after all the final engineering drawings have been done. And so our financing party would like to see an issued CUP before they release funds in order to do the engineering. And then after that, the stormwater pollution and prevention plan will be based on that. So it's really just a timing concern.
Assurance for the investors.
Right, yep. But we're absolutely happy to provide this verification to the county.
Anything else? Thank you, sir. Andy?
with that information, what staff is proposing is to amend condition number 17 to be reflective of striking out conditional use permit and then replacing that with the zoning permit. So VE would have to issue or provide us the information prior to issuance of the zoning permit, so we could then issue the conditional use permit. They could do the required research and provide it to us, and then we would issue the zoning permit for construction. So that would then assist their concerns.
That will take care of your concern?
Yes, it would, thank you.
So we need a motion on that?
Right, yeah,
We
we
were-
do that.
Yeah.
do that.
So what I'm asking today is for approval of the conditional use permit with the amended condition number 17 with the attached findings of fact.
I'll move that.
We have a motion?
I'll second
We
that.
have a second. Any questions procedurally? You're comfortable with that?
Sure.
Okay.
The staff is comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm assuming that,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Sounded that way.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
The next item I have for you is consideration of November 26th of 2019 at 10 a.m. for the public hearing concerning the annexation between Belgrade and Oshawa Township. You may recall this has been a discussion point at a previous board workshop where there is a unique situation with the township road kind of goes around a building site. They did receive a variance a couple of years ago with intentions of taking care of some of these property line concerns. They have gotten to the point now with their attorney that they feel comfortable while moving forward. We've reviewed all the necessary documents and they've submitted them completely. And so we're at the point that we need to set the public hearing to make that amendment.
So moved.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any other discussions or questions in that matter? So our proposed public hearing will be November 26th at 10 a.m. All those in favor signify, no. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The next item I have for you is consideration of 3 lien attachments for the AIG BMP loan program for septic activities. The total lien amount is $44,014. You will see within the attached resolution the 3 identified parcels. And just to note, we have received reimbursement from the Department of Agriculture already for these 3 loans with it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would move the resolution as
Second.
presented.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Now let's call the question.
Commissioner Lozano?
Yes.
Kohler?
Yes.
Lupke?
Yes.
Morrow?
Yes.
Kemp?
Yes. Now,
The last item I have for you is in regard to the Lower Minnesota River West Committee appointments. This was a discussion point previously at board workshops and then also at the May 28th, 2019 board meeting where a resolution was passed to participate and support the One Watershed, One Planning grant. We have been notified at the end of August that the specific boundaries have been approved and Bowser is willing to move forward with that. So the next step for Nicollet County then is to appoint a commissioner and alternate to the technical committee. The reason that they're asking us to do this now is that Bowser is ready to host their kind of orientation meeting and they do need the committee appointments so they can notify and set up meeting requests with it. So I did enclose a copy of the map just to recall some of the concerns with the metro area within your packet and how that impacts Nicollet County. It's kind of the upper third of the county and then the western part is in with the Hawk Creek. One Watershed, One Plan, and then the remaining area is kind of, it's up for discussion at this point, but we do feel we have a plan to address those concerns too in the next couple of years.
what are your wishes?
A good chunk of it's in Marie's district, isn't it?
I was gonna say, I'd
I
be
was-
interested. Yeah.
Would you like to be primary?
Sure. I can be alternate because the rest of it's in mine.
No,
Well,
except-
maybe
or-
some of it's, no, there wouldn't be any in yours or very
No,
low.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, yeah. Okay. So a motion would be appropriate to appoint Commissioner Grennell as our primary and Commissioner Lipke as our secondary.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mandy, for
Thank
all
you.
your work. We appreciate it. Let's see. My train of thought derailed here. So, we have all of those pieces. We are officially by agenda to the Drainage Authority meeting. I would prefer, if it's acceptable to the board, to proceed with the balance of our regular board meeting. And then we will come back and convene the authority with the Drainage
That's a good
Authority.
idea.
Is that acceptable? Okay, that being said, I think our administrator's up. Do you have anything good for us?
Nothing specific. I would like to talk about the October road tour though, under the meetings and conferences.
Okay, all right. We'll skip ahead to, let's see, my report is, since we were last together, I had spent time at the AMC Policy Conference, lots of topics. Cannabis seems to be the hot button topic though right now, so something that we all need to be aware of, and you will see much more coming from that. Workforce Joint Powers Board, our extension meeting, department head meeting, special board meeting, the board workshop, public safety committee, and multi-county HRA were my areas of service.
Can you say that again faster?
I could. That's why I write really big notes so I can read it. I try to say, John, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you.
You also were at the RETA thing at Gustavus?
Oh, I missed that one. See, I read too fast. I apologize.
I was there, and I was at Alexandria for the AMC thing.
Yep.
I was at the Farm Bureau annual meeting at Swan Lake with Terry here, and I think I got most of the tar out of my mustache.
Still got a couple of feathers though.
Yeah. Went to the Extension Committee meeting, went to the workshop, went to the criminal justice,
Public safety.
public safety, okay. Went to the Agscape thing, that went to a discovery farm in Renville County, and went to Pikel's Hill after that. 3 commissioners from Sibley County, Mr. Frentz and Mr. Brand were there. I went to the Rural Minnesota Energy Board meeting yesterday, and they asked me to get out the word that there's PACE funds available if somebody has energy savings things that they need a loan for. So, thank you.
Commissioner Morrow.
The RETA meeting as well. We also had the Underage Substance Abuse Coalition meeting, and then joined you all at the AMC Policy, Farm Bureau, as John said, and the Criminal Justice meeting.
Very well. Commissioner Drell.
I was at the usual suspects. While you were all in Alexandria, I was at the Blandin Foundation's Leading Ethnically Diverse Communities program, which will go on for 9 months here in St. Peter. It was an interesting kickoff to training. Planning and zoning, we were here. Yesterday was a TAC committee meeting for Vine with our transit issues, and of course the ladies at MnDOT set me off every day. This weekend, or this Thursday and Friday, we will be live streaming the Nobel Conference if you don't have tickets.
Okay.
It is on climate change, and it's generally pretty cool to watch.
Is that the first time they've live streamed?
They live streamed it last year too. It's good. That's it for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Kolars.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and along with the rest of our fellow board members, happy to represent at the RETA board meeting, our AMC policy, and Alex, the Minnesota Valley Action Council meeting on the 16th, our workshop, and CJC.
Okay. We are back to you, Ryan. We're meeting in conferences.
Yes, just would like to discuss the road tour. Every October, in lieu of a workshop, we have traditionally taken a road tour with Seth and Public Works to see various projects going on. Is that the wishes of the board again to do that?
I'd like to.
The 15th?
I believe so, the 3rd Tuesday.
3rd Tuesday?
If there's specific places you'd like to go visit, just let Seth or I know. We'll talk to Mandy as well to see if she's got anything that she wants us to look at. And if we've got time, I'd like to take the board to the North Mankato building, just to show you that and what we're
planning to do for remodeling. We have the van, and that's worked in the past. It's a little tight.
We can do it.
Do you wanna use that again, or should we find something bigger, or what's the board's wishes?
Well, if we have it a little bigger, some of the other staff can attend with us, because when we have Madam County Attorney with us and some of the other folks, it makes it a little easier, is my bias on that, but I will concede to the will of the group.
Whatever works.
Or potentially we could, cause I know Nate comes, we could, take his pickup and
follow.
And the van.
Yeah.
Possibly too, so, alright,
I think that would work
Work it
well.
out.
We'll set something up then and,
Alright.
plan for that. So if there's anything specific, otherwise I think we're gonna look at our flood disaster projects. Maybe if we got time to go to 7 Mile Creek Park, we haven't been there in quite
Right.
a while.
Yeah, I was pulled in there yesterday when I was coming back from the MnDOT fiasco.
Is there still signs of damage throughout the park from
Oh,
the
yeah.
flooding? So I'm kinda curious to see that, but.
Okay.
And if it works out, I'd like to go to Redstone, the New Ulm Quarries, if it works out. We talked with Mandy about that a few months ago. And also, I got an invitation to go to Pikel's Hill. We could just go in there and look over the valley for a couple minutes and go back and see a little bit of the western end of the county.
We'll put a itinerary together
Okay.
and schedule it then.
Very well.
Thank you.
I take it you got 14 on that list? With your,
14?
yeah,
Yeah, we can try it.
with
Just
the
did last time.
directional boring and all of that
Oh,
going on?
no, the County Road 14.
County Road 14.
Oh, yeah. Plan on
Okay.
going on.
Yeah.
That's the only one I wanna see.
Yeah, the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. The, reminder, where are we on the annual conference for AMC? Because we are.
Yes.
Are you still holding all the rooms?
We still have all the rooms, so.
Okay, my conflict is my personal conflict is I have the annual meeting for, MRCI, which may be a conflict. They had been moving that date, but they haven't told me if they've moved it back yet, because I told them the date we had come, because that takes half that board away
Right.
if we're attending. So, I would like to retain it until I get a confirmation, at least for myself is concerned. And then, I don't know, are the rest of you planning to attend?
I'm planning.
On
Jack,
that,
you're going?
yes, on that subject matter, Mr. Chair, in visiting with the AMC people last week, I said, hey, we got aced out of the Kelly Inn and the other places too. What they suggest, I think I shared this with you, what they suggested is there typically are a number of cancellations, so just keep going back.
So I called multiple hotels again, and they stated that they do have a waiting list.
Right.
And they're up to about 15 people that would be ahead of us already on that waiting list that are asking to hold 10 rooms each.
Okay, so we don't know where we're gonna be until we get closer to the event.
We've got rooms.
Yeah, we have rooms.
Yeah, but you have room at that Grand State, which is only 2 blocks away.
It's not bad.
And it's a nice place.
It's nice.
Okay.
It's a little quieter.
What we'll do
Thanks.
is right
Have a hot
before,
We'll commit,
typically, because they've got a penalty date,
Right.
where if you
Right.
keep rooms and don't use them, you get charged an extra $100.
Right.
So we'll make calls at that point. I
Okay.
anticipate rooms to be freed up again, so.
Right. Well, I mean, I remember up there, we were at the Holiday Inn, took vans to the conference too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of far away,
It
but.
is.
This isn't a bad walk. I stayed there for the quilt show and we walked over so we
Yeah.
didn't have to park. It was 90 degrees.
All
It
right.
wasn't too bad.
You just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it.
I appreciate
but
that.
I've never seen the rooms
December.
go this fast ever for this
Right,
conference, so.
well,
Yeah, an
housing
hour.
has been a bit of a challenge there in the past, so
Yeah,
that's,
it'll be
I'm sure
interesting.
everybody
Okay.
double down.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else on conference issues? Per diems and expenses, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Chair, before.
Madam
I
County
just-
Attorney.
Just wanted to bring a couple dates to
Okay.
the commissioner's attention.
If the board will recall, last October, there was a Night to Know the Truth that was held in St. Peter. Those events will be brought back. We're going to do one in Nicollet, October 2nd from 5:30 to 8:30. That one will have a meal from 5:30 to 6 that will be served. And then we're having an event October 30th in North Mankato at South Central College. And that is from 6 to 8:30. And so all members of the community are welcome to attend either of those events. You don't have to be from Nicollet to go to the Nicollet one and the North Mankato one. There's also a community dialogue event scheduled for October 8th at 7 p.m. I believe that's going to be held at the middle school, and that's brought by the Judicial Branch Equal Access to Justice programming, and so I'll be part of a panel discussion for that as well. So just wanted to bring those dates to everyone's attention.
And those will be posted on our website also.
I'm not sure about the community dialogue notice because I'm working with the courts for that one, but the Night to Know the Truth, both of those are on, I believe, the website as well as Facebook.
I think I saw an ad in the Ledger for your Nicollet event. So, very good. Anything else? Now I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I gave you that.
All right.
Didn't have a second yet.
I didn't have a second yet. Then I need a
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for your attendance, and we will take a brief timeout, and then we will convene the Ditch Authority meeting at 9:37. Give you 5 minutes. I'd like to call to order the Drainage Authority meeting, and you have your agenda before you, and I'd entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion for the consent agenda.
It's great before
Second.
we got
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I'd like to call the gallery for any public appearances. Calling once, calling twice, third time. Our next item on the agenda, this portion of the meeting is closed for attorney-client privilege pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 13D to discuss the potential litigation regarding the improvement project of Nicollet County Ditch 62A. We will now be going to closed session. We are now back in open session of our Drainage Authority meeting, and we have additional call out on County Ditch 62A. Madam County Attorney, would you report the finding?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my understanding that Mr. Roger Justin and I will continue to address the issues raised at the last board meeting, and that there will be continued conversation about calling a special session to further address those issues that were the directive of the Drainage Authority following the meeting in September, or the end of September.
Thank you. Seeing no other business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The Drainage Authority meeting is adjourned.